veterinarians are raising serious concerns. New research shows that everyday food choices and common litter box setups may be silently shortening your cat's lifespan. The last mistake is so normal, almost every owner ignores it, until it's too late. Let's begin. Number 1. Your water bowl is in the wrong place. But here's where the situation becomes even more dangerous. Even if your cat wanted to drink more water, their ancient survival brain is actively stopping them from doing it. In the wild, a cat will instinctively avoid drinking water that is located near their food source or near a carcass. Why? Because in nature, a dead animal near water usually means bacterial contamination, parasites, and potential death. Your cat's survival instinct sees a water bowl positioned right next to their food dish as a massive biohazard warning sign. This is why you constantly see them begging for water from a dripping faucet or drinking from that glass on your nightstand. They aren't being quirky or difficult. They are literally trying to survive by following programming that's millions of years old. Research from the University of California, Davis shows that simply moving water bowls just 6 feet away from food stations can increase daily water consumption by up to 40%. Your kitchen layout might actually be the primary reason your cat's kidneys are failing right now. Number 2. The whisker torture device. And there's another sinister reason your cat refuses to drink adequate water: physical pain. Those deep, narrow water bowls you bought because they look stylish? They're actually torture devices for your cat. Every single time your cat's highly sensitive whiskers make contact with the sides of the bowl, it sends painful sensory signals through their entire nervous system. Imagine someone poking you directly in the eyeball every single time you try to take a sip of water. That's what your cat experiences with improper bowls. Veterinary behaviorists have identified this phenomenon as whisker fatigue, and it's completely preventable with the right bowl design. Wide, shallow dishes made from stainless steel or ceramic eliminate this painful sensory overload instantly. One comprehensive study from Ohio State University's veterinary program showed that cats drank 63% more water when whisker stress was completely removed from the equation. That single environmental change could potentially add 5 years to your cat's life simply by protecting their kidney function. Number 3. The wet food revolution. Now here's the life-saving intervention that most cat owners never discover until it's too late. Wet food isn't a special treat or a luxury item. It's preventive medicine in a can. A single 3-ounce portion of quality wet food contains more biologically available hydration than your cat will voluntarily drink all day from even the best water bowl setup. The difference is staggering when you look at the numbers. Cats fed exclusively on wet food diets have kidney function values that look approximately 7 years younger than dry-fed cats of the exact same chronological age. If switching completely to wet food isn't within your budget constraints, even the simple act of adding just 2 tablespoons of warm water to every dry food meal can make a significant difference in reducing the toxic metabolic load on their kidneys. Japanese longevity studies that tracked cats living past 20 years found one universal common thread across all subjects. 100% of these exceptionally long-lived cats were maintained on predominantly high-moisture diets throughout their lives. Every single meal you serve is either actively healing their kidneys or progressively destroying them. Choose wisely. Number 4. The dental disease. Time bomb. But hydration is only half the longevity equation. There's a bacterial time bomb actively growing in your cat's mouth right now, and it's systematically destroying them from the inside out. If your cat has noticeably bad breath, that odor isn't a normal part of being a cat. It's the smell of active bacterial infection. By age 3, approximately 70% of all cats have developed some form of periodontal disease. By age 10, that percentage climbs to nearly 90%. This isn't just about losing a few teeth in old age. The mouth serves as the gateway to the entire circulatory system. When the gums become inflamed and infected, the protective barrier between the oral cavity and the bloodstream becomes compromised. Every time your cat chews their food, billions of pathogenic bacteria are forced directly into their circulatory system. UC Davis research has definitively proven that these oral bacteria have a specific biological affinity for heart valves and the delicate filtration units within the kidneys, causing progressive organ damage and failure years later. Professional dental cleanings performed under anesthesia aren't optional cosmetic procedures. They're essential life-saving medical interventions that reduce heart disease risk by approximately 60%. Number 5. The mobility crisis destroying senior cats. Now let's discuss the epidemic that's hiding in plain sight in millions of homes. Arthritis in aging cats. Clinical studies prove that over 90% of cats above age 12 have radiographic evidence of arthritis, yet almost none of these cats receive appropriate pain management medication. Why does this massive treatment gap exist? Because cats are evolutionary masters of deception when it comes to hiding pain and weakness. They don't limp dramatically like dogs do. They don't whimper or cry out. They simply stop jumping up onto furniture. When your 10-year-old cat suddenly stops leaping onto the kitchen counter, most owners dismiss it as normal, slowing down with age. It's not normal. It's untreated silent agony. Your cat's joints are grinding bone directly against bone with every movement, and they're hiding this intense suffering to avoid appearing vulnerable to potential predators. That barely noticeable split-second hesitation before jumping onto the bed? That's your cat mentally calculating whether the pain of jumping is worth the reward of reaching their destination. Every single day they suffer in silence while we live our normal lives completely unaware. Number 6. The death spiral of inactivity. But here's where arthritis transforms from a pain problem into a life-threatening systemic crisis. When cats stop moving regularly, absolutely everything in their body begins to shut down. Muscle mass disappears in a matter of weeks. Metabolism crashes dramatically. Blood circulation slows to dangerous levels. Internal organs begin to decline and fail from inadequate perfusion. It's a biological death spiral that feeds on itself. Inactive cats lose muscle tissue so rapidly that their bodies actually start consuming their own organ tissue for energy when dietary protein becomes insufficient. Within just 6 months of becoming sedentary, a previously healthy and strong cat can transform into a frail, weak shadow of their former self. Comprehensive Swedish longevity research that followed cats for decades found a striking correlation. Cats who successfully maintained consistent mobility and activity levels past age 15 lived an average of 6 additional years compared to sedentary cats. Movement isn't a lifestyle choice or optional exercise. It's literally the difference between a cat dying at 13 versus thriving well into their late teens and early 20s. Number 7. The home modifications that add years. Think of your home environment as a specialized rehabilitation center designed for a retired professional athlete. Every single obstacle you remove, every accommodation you add, literally adds weeks or months to their remaining lifespan. Install carpeted ramps leading to their favorite elevated spots. Add cushioned steps beside the bed so they can reach you without painful jumping. Raise both food and water bowls to shoulder height so they don't have to hunch their arthritic neck and spine downward with every meal. These aren't merely cosmetic changes to make your home look pet-friendly. They're legitimate medical interventions with measurable health outcomes. One detailed tracking study followed cats who received comprehensive accessibility modifications and documented that they increased their overall daily activity levels by over 300% within just a few weeks of implementation. More consistent movement translates directly into stronger muscle maintenance, dramatically better circulation throughout the body, and healthier organ function across all systems. Switch to a low-entry litter box immediately. A cat suffering from painful arthritic hips who must climb over a high plastic wall just to eliminate will eventually stop using the box entirely, leading to serious behavioral problems that can permanently destroy the bond between you. Number 8. The obesity accelerator. But environmental modifications mean absolutely nothing if your cat is carrying excess weight. Obesity functions as arthritis's evil partner in crime. Just one single extra pound of fat on a cat's frame is biomechanically equivalent to a human carrying an additional 15 pounds. That excess weight creates crushing pressure on already deteriorating joints while simultaneously releasing pro-inflammatory chemicals throughout the entire body. An overweight arthritic cat essentially exists in a state of constant self-inflicted torture with every movement. Weight loss is genuinely the most powerful pain medication available for arthritic cats. Yet the vast majority of owners never seriously attempt it. Groundbreaking research from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine proves that cats who lose just 10% of their body weight show measurable 50% improvement in mobility scores within only 8 weeks. Excess fat isn't cute, or proof that your cat is well fed. It's a progressive health crisis that's actively shortening their life with every passing day. Number 9. The protein paradox destroying seniors. And here's a cruel irony that most cat owners never learn. Commercial senior cat foods are actually making the aging problem significantly worse. As cats advance in age, they don't need less protein like the pet food industry wants you to believe. They actually need substantially more high-quality, highly digestible protein to maintain their existing muscle mass. Their aging digestive systems and metabolisms struggle to efficiently digest and utilize protein, which means they require premium animal-based protein sources just to maintain the status quo. Yet the majority of commercial senior diet formulas are packed full of cheap plant-based proteins and non-nutritive fillers that their obligate carnivore bodies simply cannot properly process or utilize. The devastating result? Their bodies begin systematically consuming their own muscle tissue for energy when dietary protein proves insufficient. This progressive muscle wasting condition is called sarcopenia, and it's completely preventable with proper nutrition. Cats fed consistently high-quality meat-based protein maintain robust muscle mass well into their 20s. Feed them garbage ingredients, and you'll watch them physically waste away. The choice is truly that brutal and clear-cut. Number 10. The dehydration death trap. Here's something that will blow your mind. Your cat's brain is programmed to ignore thirst. This isn't a quirk or a personality trait. It's an evolutionary disaster built into every cell of their body. 10,000 years ago, cats evolved in the deserts of North Africa where they got all their water from the moisture within their prey. They never needed to drink standing water because every mouse, every bird, every lizard was 65–70% water. Because of this, cats evolved an incredibly low thirst drive. They are biologically designed to not feel thirsty until they are already in a state of clinical dehydration. Fast forward to today, and we're feeding them dry kibble, which contains only about 10% moisture. Your cat is living in chronic dehydration every single day, and their kidneys are slowly burning out from the constant strain. Studies from Cornell University's College of Veterinary Medicine prove that cats on a dry food diet exist in a constant state of mild dehydration. This silent stress is why kidney failure remains the #1 cause of death in domestic cats. Number 11. The silent damage of chronic stress. Now we enter the invisible battlefield that most owners completely overlook: chronic psychological stress. Stress isn't merely an emotional or behavioral issue, it's a legitimate biological toxin circulating through the feline body. When a cat feels persistently unsafe in their environment, their body continuously floods with cortisol and other stress hormones, which actively suppress immune system function and dramatically accelerate cellular aging at the DNA level. Studies utilizing precise stress hormone measurements prove that cats living in chaotic, unpredictable households age approximately 30% faster than cats maintained in calm, stable environments. Your constantly changing schedule, excessive loud noises, and frequent household disruptions are literally shortening their lifespan with measurable biological effects. Cats are creatures who thrive on routine and predictability. Every significant disruption to their established routine triggers their ancient survival programming, keeping them trapped in a constant state of fight-or-flight hypervigilance. A chronically stressed cat is progressively declining even if they appear physically healthy on the surface. The damage accumulates invisibly over years until organ systems begin failing, seemingly out of nowhere. Point 12. The boredom destroying their brain. But here's what proves even more insidious than environmental stress. Profound boredom systematically destroys the feline brain. When cats lack adequate mental stimulation and enrichment, their cognitive function deteriorates rapidly, leading to what veterinarians recognize as feline cognitive dysfunction syndrome, essentially dementia in cats. This isn't inevitable normal aging. It's completely preventable brain damage resulting from environmental neglect. Cats are evolutionarily designed as apex predators meant to hunt, stalk, problem solve, and strategize for multiple hours every single day. When we provide them with unlimited food freely available in a bowl, their brains progressively atrophy from complete disuse. Landmark research from Edinburgh University that tracked individual cats for 15 consecutive years found that mentally stimulated cats showed absolutely zero measurable signs of cognitive decline even at age 18. Meanwhile, understimulated bored cats consistently developed obvious dementia-like symptoms by age 12. Your cat doesn't need more food or more toys collecting dust. They need a job. They need daily cognitive challenges. They need purpose. Without it, their mind deteriorates just like an unused muscle. Point 13. The enrichment prescription. The proven solution is treating environmental enrichment exactly like prescription medicine. Immediately replace static food bowls with interactive puzzle feeders that force your cat to work both mentally and physically for every single meal. This simple environmental change effectively mimics their natural hunting cycle, triggering the release of dopamine while simultaneously lowering harmful cortisol levels. Rotate available toys on a weekly schedule to maintain novelty and sustained interest. Install multiple window perches at varying heights so they can comfortably watch birds, squirrels, and outdoor activity for hours. These aren't luxury items or optional extras. They're essential cognitive protection with documented health outcomes. One landmark study demonstrated that cats receiving consistent daily enrichment activities maintained problem-solving abilities and reaction times comparable to cats literally half their chronological age. Want your 15-year-old cat to think, move, and behave like a 7-year-old? Provide them with appropriate daily challenges. A mentally engaged, stimulated cat naturally maintains curiosity and healthy appetite, which are the two most reliable primary indicators of a genuinely long, high-quality life. Number 14. The sound frequencies. Destroying peace. But there's an environmental stressor present in your home that you cannot even detect with human senses. Harmful sound frequencies. Cats possess hearing capabilities extending up to 64,000 Hz, while humans max out at approximately 20,000 Hz. That ultrasonic pest repeller device you installed to handle mice? It's functioning as a 24/7 torture device for your cat, emitting frequencies that cause them genuine distress, that barely perceptible high-pitched whine emanating from older televisions, phone chargers, and various electronics. It's progressively driving them towards psychological breakdown. Even harsh chemical household cleaners release volatile organic compounds that severely burn their extraordinarily sensitive nasal passages and respiratory system. Veterinary researchers conducting controlled environment studies found that homes with carefully controlled sound environments had resident cats with approximately 40% lower measurable stress hormone levels. Create designated quiet zones throughout your home, featuring soft surfaces that naturally absorb sound. Install sound dampening materials where possible. Sometimes the most effective medicine for a stressed cat is simply providing blessed silence and genuine peace. Number 15. The litter box infection factory. Here's a genuinely disgusting truth that most cat owners actively ignore. Your cat's litter box is functioning as a bacterial breeding ground that's actively poisoning them on a daily basis. Cats possess an incredibly sensitive sense of smell that's approximately 14 times stronger than human olfactory capability. When you think the litter box condition is acceptable or fine, your cat is standing in what smells like a toxic waste dump to their sensitive nose. This constant sensory assault triggers persistent stress hormones and creates the perfect conditions for urinary tract infections to develop. Comprehensive studies from Colorado State University's veterinary program prove that cats living in homes with inadequately maintained litter boxes hold their urine significantly longer than necessary, which creates the absolutely perfect conditions for painful bladder crystals and mineral formations to develop. Those crystals rapidly transform into larger stones that can completely block their urethra, causing an agonizing death within just 48 hours if untreated. Your laziness and inconsistency with daily scooping is literally creating the kidney stones that could end their life. Clean boxes aren't optional. They're survival. Number 16. The one box per cat survival rule. But even obsessively clean litter boxes prove insufficient if you don't maintain the correct number for your household. The established veterinary rule is 1 litter box per cat plus 1 additional extra box. Why is this specific ratio so critical? Because cats are inherently territorial predators who instinctively hate sharing their bathroom and elimination spaces with other cats. In multi-cat households with insufficient litter box numbers, Weaker or more submissive cats will hold their waist to deliberately avoid confrontation with dominant cats, leading to chronic urinary tract infections and serious behavioral problems. Japanese research studying cats that lived past 20 years found that 100% of these exceptional cases came from homes that maintained proper litter box ratios throughout the cat's entire life. That second or third cat you adopted because you thought your first cat seemed lonely might actually be shortening your original cat's lifespan by 5 years or more simply because they're now forced to share a toilet. Would you willingly share a single bathroom with a complete stranger forever? Your cats shouldn't have to either. Number 17. The proactive health revolution. Now we reach what might be the single most critical longevity secret: proactive rather than reactive healthcare. The biggest tragedy in modern feline medicine is that the vast majority of owners wait patiently for obvious symptoms to appear before seeking veterinary help. By the time you finally notice visible weight loss from kidney disease, approximately 75% of total kidney function has already been destroyed forever. You cannot fix or regenerate what is permanently gone. Regular blood work functions as a medical time machine that reveals developing disease before any symptoms become visible to the naked eye. Once cats reach age 7, they are officially considered senior citizens in veterinary medicine. From that specific point forward, comprehensive wellness examinations every 6 months become absolutely non-negotiable for catching disease early. 1 human calendar year equals approximately 5 cat years of aging. Would you personally go 5 consecutive years without visiting a doctor for checkups? Annual veterinary checkups simply aren't frequent enough for aging cats. Biannual monitoring consistently catches disease processes when they're still highly treatable rather than terminal. Early detection isn't about finding disease. It's about preventing premature death. Number 18. The kitchen poison you're feeding now. And here's that kitchen secret I promised at the beginning. Human food is actively destroying your senior cat's organs. That seemingly innocent piece of canned tuna or slice of deli meat you're offering as a special treat? It's absolutely loaded with sodium and phosphorus that function like slow-acting poison to aging kidneys. A single thin slice of deli ham contains enough concentrated sodium to spike a cat's blood pressure for a full 24 hours. It's biomechanically equivalent to a human eating 10 entire bags of potato chips in one sitting. Chronic high blood pressure in senior cats directly causes sudden irreversible blindness from retinal detachment, strokes that leave them partially paralyzed, and progressive kidney damage that compounds existing disease. Those treats you genuinely thought were showing love and affection are actually stealing years from their life. Every single human food scrap you offer is essentially a dice roll with their vital organs. Commercial cat treats exist for scientifically valid reasons. Use them instead of food from your plate, regardless of how much your cat begs. Number 19. The blood pressure crisis. Hypertension in domestic cats represents a genuinely silent epidemic that most owners remain completely unaware of until catastrophic permanent damage has already occurred. Cats cannot verbally tell you they're experiencing persistent headaches or feeling dizzy and disoriented. The first obvious sign is often sudden complete blindness from retinal detachment or a devastating stroke that leaves them partially paralyzed on one side. These aren't inevitable age-related events that we must accept. They're completely preventable medical tragedies. Regular blood pressure monitoring for all cats over age 7 can successfully detect dangerous hypertension before any permanent organ damage occurs. Medication to control feline hypertension is relatively cheap and highly effective, but only if you catch the condition early enough. One simple blood pressure test performed twice annually could literally save their vision, protect their brain from stroke, and preserve their life. The test takes 5 minutes and costs less than a fancy coffee. There's absolutely no excuse for allowing preventable blindness or stroke. Number 20. The thyroid wildcard. Hyperthyroidism represents another stealth threat that dangerously masquerades as completely normal aging. Owners notice their senior cat suddenly seems more active and playful, and they think it's absolutely wonderful. They're actually watching their cat's body systematically burn itself up from the inside out. An overactive thyroid gland supercharges the metabolism to dangerous levels, causing rapid muscle and fat loss, progressive heart damage, and multi-organ failure. The cruel joke of this disease? Affected cats seem energetic and engaged right up until they suddenly collapse from heart failure. A simple thyroid panel blood test catches this disease before it causes any irreversible damage. Treatment is straightforward, affordable, and highly effective. Ignored and left untreated, hyperthyroidism progressively destroys the heart and kidneys within approximately 2 years. That seemingly spunky, energetic senior cat might actually be silently dying while you celebrate their unusual energy. Trust the blood work, not your subjective observations. Chemistry doesn't lie. So here's the fundamental truth. Reaching 20 years isn't about luck, superior genetics, or expensive supplements. It's about 1,000 small, conscious decisions made consistently over decades. Strategic hydration, dental protection, mobility support, stress reduction, mental enrichment, proactive medical monitoring. Every single element works together synergistically to create a biological fortress against the diseases that prematurely end 95% of cats before their natural time. The cats living comfortably into their 20s aren't statistical miracles or genetic anomalies. They're the direct result of informed owners who understood that prevention is literally 100 times more powerful and cost-effective than treatment. You now possess the complete blueprint. The knowledge that veterinarians genuinely wish every single cat owner understood from day one. The only question remaining is, what will you do with this information? Your cat's future is entirely in your hands, right? Now, build them a significantly longer, healthier one. They're depending on you.